This is the first time you came for Brazil, the second time in Latin America. What's your impressions about Dash Games?
Dash Games is fantastic. It's been really interesting to be able to meet South American developers, Brazilian developers, and seeing the talent that's here. You wouldn't have realised from a Western point of view and from a kind of a European point of view just what amazing kind of range of abilities, range of new stories that we need to hear that are being developed here by game developers. So it's a great opportunity to get and meet people like young and interesting, exciting talent. In particular for me, it was a real pleasure because there's a lot of teams who were part of the Game Founders Accelerator, where I'm a mentor, so I got to meet a lot of people I already knew and see how far they've developed as game developers as well. Great place to be, and a fantastic response to my talk about marketing for indies. Got to talk to a lot of developers, meet some speakers that I didn't already know, which is unusual for me. So it's been a fantastic place to be. Thank you for having me.
Okay, last question. You did a speech, a short speech, about marketing new games and talking about Unity and all these sorts. What's the 3 tips you wish to give for a newcomer of gaming industry here in Brazil?
So I'm an evangelist at Unity, and I get the privilege of being able to talk about things that I'm passionate about. I'm also a trained marketeer, so that's why I did a talk about marketing. And what's really interesting is when you are able to start to nail down some key things. First thing is, when you're looking at games, think about your audience. Who are they, and what do they want from your game? It's not interesting to make a game just for yourself. What's really interesting is to make a game for an audience. And that's like tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to realize that your audience is going to change. Their experience playing your game will change them. And when they start playing with your game, they're going to be discovering, or they're going to be deciding if your game is going to be the one they're going to try. There's hundreds of games released every single day, and you're expecting them to find your game, and then they've got to learn the controls, but more importantly, they've got to learn where your game fits into their daily routine, and all that before they get to the stage when they're really truly engaged, before they can be really considered a proper player. So what I'm describing here is a life cycle. So that's what tip number 2 is really about. Not only understand who your audience is, but understand your player's life cycle. But those 2 things are really as important to game design as they are to marketing. By understanding our audience, by understanding how they change in behavior, we can actually start considering how we communicate to them. We have to do the 3rd thing, and that is actually an acronym, ADA. Awareness, interest, desire, action. Now, if you're a marketing guy, you've heard this before, you know this exists. This is something that we are brought up on. It's almost like lesson number 1 of sales technique, lesson number 1 of marketing technique. Build awareness, create interest, create and develop desire. And then and only then will we trigger the action that we want. But I'm going to add a little twist to that. Retention. ADA is a fantastic acronym for getting us to think about the ways to encourage a player to come and play our game. And maybe, just maybe, spend some money. But unless we add retention to that, unless we add the reason to repeat, we haven't got a business. We haven't actually created something that our audiences not just wanted, but desired. Because if they don't repeat, we failed. Those are the 3 things. Understand your audience. Understand how they're going to change as they experience your game, and understand what it takes to motivate them to find, to learn, to engage, and retain in your game. That's how you get successful.
Thank you very much, Oscar. If you like this video, se você gostou desse vídeo, please like it and subscribe our channel. Drops de Jogos here in Dash Games. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you very much.